Well, it was, we're new here, but it was a long time coming for DePaul basketball here to get a Big East win. So I feel really good and happy for my president who's here and my AD who's here to enjoy this one. And really happy for our guys, really happy for our players. And, Ed is a good friend and a phenomenal coach. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. And he was shorthanded tonight, but I tell you, we knew his team was going to fight and, do what they do, compete. He's done an unbelievable job with this program in such a short time, and I got immense respect for him. So for us, I just am really happy for our players, and our staff, but our players who have been really close on 3 of these right now. Not as close on the other 4, but 3 of them really close. And I'm just really pleased that they can feel the rewards of a win.
Chris, on that front, just to turn around from Tuesday to do this, I mean, that had to be able to get the immediate result had to be pretty gratifying.
Yeah, it's a good point, because I think we were a little deflated after the Seton Hall loss, and it was hard to get our guys back. And we talked about needing to respond quicker to another overtime loss that was difficult and tough to take. What we really tried to focus on with them, and what we have tried to focus, is the quality of our play, regardless of the results. What can we control? The quality of our play, the quality of our possessions, the quality of our performance we can control. And if that's good enough on a given night, great. If it's not, that's going to have to be okay too. So we really tried to focus on the quality of play.
And what was kind of the key for you guys working against Peavy, who's obviously had a lot more success for the season than he did tonight?
Defensively or offensively?
Both, really.
We try to stay away from him offensively, as far away from him as possible. He is such a menace on the ball. His length, his size, his ball pressure, his physicality. He's such a good player. He and Mac are just terrific adds. You add him with, their big fella who was out tonight. It's just, there's no, it's not a surprise they're as good as they are. And I think they're good at full strength. So offensively, we tried to keep him away from the ball as much as we could, or screen to get him off the ball. And we tried to keep him in front of us as much as possible.
Marcus?
Yeah, hey Coach. Georgetown does like to switch, and a lot of times it seemed like, especially in the first half, you were able to attack Mac in all of those switches. Yep. And even down the stretch where it wasn't a switch situation, your guard backed them in. Was that an attack that you thought that you could get when you guys were doing your scout?
It was one that we felt like was the best option at that time. He's such a good offensive player. And he's got really quick hands. He's really good with his hands. So you have to protect the ball around him. But he's just not as big as their other wings. So we did post him one time late, and I felt good about the look that Jacob Meyer got there. But, they have limited, they're the second best defensive team in the league. So there's limited ways you can attack this team, because they're typical of an Ed Cooley team. They're tough, they're physical. They're really well coached defensively. So, were we trying to attack him? We were trying to stay away from some of the other guys, probably the best way of saying it.
And when you found out that there was going to be some limitations, without having Sorbo and stuff like that, just in game, did you change anything, or did you just go ahead and just go with what you guys had prepared for?
It's a good question, because you hear it 10 minutes before the game starts, and they're 2 important players. They do have a little more guard depth, so the big fella being out was like your whole game plan was set up around the big fella, our whole game plan. So that's why one of the reasons we started our big kid tonight, because we felt like it was a better matchup. So for us, we did have to adjust a little bit and play maybe a little bit differently. But then once the game got going and I got a feel for how Ed was, I thought how he was going to attack us, which is a lot off the bounce and spread us out. I did feel like we needed to play, a good fair amount of zone.
Coach, you have several members of your staff who have head coaching experience themselves. How much of a boost do you feel like that gives you with situations like that, where the game plan kind of changes 10 minutes before or also in late game situations like tonight?
Well, they all have a role, and I think I didn't add any of them specifically for that reason. I added them all because they're terrific people, they're good coaches, and they wanted to be a part of this DePaul rebuild. So it's always good to be able to lean on other voices in moments like that, for sure.
Talk about utilizing your 2 defense regularly, particularly down the stretch. What was its impact?
Well, I was worried about us keeping the ball in front, and I was also worried about rebounding. So we switched to go man some. The thing I've learned coaching against Ed is he'll pick on matchups and exploit matchups, I think, as good as anybody in the country. So the zone can neutralize that a little bit, because he's so good at saying, this guy, you can back cut this guy, you can post this guy, and he's got a playbook that's longer than anybody we play against.
Coming into the game, they've struggled with duck ends, post entry. Did you notice that, and what did you do to make it hard for them to do so today?
It's not a big part of our game is posting up, but we did try to throw it in there some and post them up for sure.
I mean, them though, they had trouble with the duck ends and all year, duck ends and post up, and they didn't do well today with it.
Oh, you mean their bigs posting up?
Yeah.
No, I think some of that is they've got some youth on the front line too. We forget that's a sophomore starting, freshman, big, who's one of the best freshmen in the country, but he's still a freshman big.
John Tito.
Hey, Coach. You started out by talking about friends who are coaches. I was just curious how close you are to Ryan Day, and do you think he's going to be a national champion in 48 hours?
Ryan Day's one of the best people I know, and he's one of the very best coaches that I've seen and been around. And I would like nothing more than Ryan, his staff, and players to win a national championship on Monday night. I'm not here to make a prediction, but if there's one guy, one staff, and one program that deserves it and has earned it, I think it's them, and I'm excited to watch it. He's a hell of a guy.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks.